Where's Oakland's?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Hey, excuse me, guys. Let me get this mic over here. Watch a disaster tripping over that.
Real quick.
Same length as
How you doing, Tim?
doing well.
Hey, when do you have your meeting with like Renee to go over all like the marketing?
We've already had some of them. We've had a few already.
You guys ready to roll?
Hopefully. There's a change every single meeting with them, so who knows?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Good. So you're learning. Yeah. That's what I was worried about for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're getting used to it.
Yeah.
Wow, you're locked and loaded now, aren't you?
With a new year, a new pursuit for the championship in the American. As we welcome you to the American Digital Network, live from Orlando, UCF squaring off against the newest members of the American Athletic Conference, the Shockers of Wichita State. Hi, everyone. Lincoln Rose along with Coach Angela Beck, and we talk about this matchup. Obviously, a year ago, UCF makes the coaching change with Coach Abe. Immediate dividends. They're now picked to finish fourth this year. That'd be their best finish since joining the American. And, of course, on the other side, the new member, Wichita State, a new leader as well in Coach Keitha Adams.
Well, to say Coach Abe has it rolling is an understatement. She took her team to the WNIT last year, the second round. She's got them rolling on all cylinders, Lincoln. She likes to run a fast tempo, and they're really proud of the stingy 3-2 defense, which has held the first two opponents to under 50 points. On the other hand, we've got the newcomer, Wichita. I'm excited to watch him. Positive coach, positive energy. She wants her 8 seniors to go out on a positive note.
Shockers looking for their first American victory all time. We take a look at your keys to this matchup for them.
Well, the keys are the Shockers, they want to pound the post. They want to go down to Bassard early and often. And then they need to limit their turnovers. They had 25 turnovers against Houston. That's killing them right now. So if they can limit their turnovers, it could be a ball game.
Across the way for the home side, how do the Knights improve to 3-0?
Well, they improved by obviously taking Bassard out of the offense. She's averaging 22 points right now in the American Athletic Conference, and they need to press the tempo and get those turnovers a-rolling.
A lot of talent on display today. We take a look at some of the players we'll keep a close eye on. First up for the visitors.
Well, Rangy Bassard, can't say enough about her. She leads. She's in the top 25 of the NCAA in 5 different categories. She can do it all for them, and she does. Hopefully she doesn't run out of gas here because they go to her a lot.
They lean so heavily on her. UCF, pretty balanced scoring overall, but I know you're excited about the freshman Kaba.
I think everybody's excited about Kaba. She's just figuring it out. She's long, she's lanky, she's got length, and she's rebounding now, and it's coming together, and Coach is really excited about her getting all these reps early on.
When we come back, our first broadcast of the new calendar year in the American with women's basketball on display here on ADN.
Wichita State University is Shocker Nation. We exceed expectations, push boundaries, seize opportunities, and move boldly ahead. We are student-centered and innovation-driven. It's who we are. Our vision is simple but powerful. Create, innovate, collaborate, and celebrate. With one unifying purpose: to shock the world.
People say we're big. Wow. Well, what is big?
This is big.
It's an energy. An opportunity.
This is big, baby!
So go on. Dream big. Because big is just the beginning.
I got it. This is big.
Don't miss the chance to see your team cut down the nets at the American Athletic Conference Men's Basketball Championship. All the excitement of tournament basketball starts March 8th and runs to the 11th at the Amway Center in Orlando. For tickets, call the Amway Center box office or visit theamerican.org for more information.
as we ring in 2018. Glad to have you in Orlando, Florida, as the UCF Knights much improved, and what a difference a new head coach has made with Katie Abrahamson Henderson. Of course, Coach Abe in her second year. UCF again predicted to finish fourth. Their first ever meeting against the Wichita State Shockers. Shockers again joining the American prior to this athletic calendar year. Let's welcome in the third member of our broadcast team for the first time today, Eric Lopez.
Well, Lincoln, right now talking to both sides right before tip, something they talked about. Wichita State wants to play with tempo but protect the basketball. Season high 25 turnovers in their loss to Houston. UCF's among the top 40 in the country in steals per game, and they like to cause havoc. So that was some of the conversation right here prior to opening tip. Wichita State trying to learn how to win. They're kind of where UCF was a year ago. They were trying to learn how to win under a first-year head coach. They found themselves last year in conference. Can Wichita State find themselves today? That remains to be seen. Back to you, Lincoln.
Thank you, Eric. Yeah, Angela, so true on a couple of points there. The turnovers against Houston, really Wichita State trying to put together a solid 4 quarters for the first time in conference play. They've come through with maybe 3 good quarters and one that has been too much to overcome. And, of course, we've talked about it already. UCF, a new coach last year. Shockers with a coaching change this past offseason as they take on the new endeavor of the American. And, you know, Keitha Adams is just waiting. Within a couple of years, should have things going right the way people want over there in Wichita, Kansas.
Well, I'm truly excited about her. She's amazing. You know, she's had a great reputation her whole life. Her former AD gave her millions of accolades, and you can't stay 16 years and have that happen without being something special. So it's going to be great watching her develop.
First point of the afternoon belongs to the freshman Masani Kaba. We focused on her a couple moments ago, the 6'3" freshman out of Massachusetts. And she gets her 11th career start through her first 16 ball games. Yeah,
she just cleaned that up on the offensive boards, and she's really been picking up her offensive board production. She had 5 offensive boards in their last outing.
She's just a 53% free throw shooter in her young career, but steps it up here under the bright lights of the American Digital Network.
Little 1-2-1 full court press, which we weren't expecting to have come right out at the beginning, but nice little toy here.
Going to be a whole lot of black and gold on display today. Of course, Wichita State wearing the road black, UCF in the home whites today. Third game of the conference schedule for both of these teams. Conference play got started just before the new year, and just like that, Wichita State able to answer first 2 points as we're just a minute into this one.
It's just a nice drive right down the middle of that 3-2 zone.
KK Wright will work it back along the perimeter out to Gregory. Gregory preseason all-conference after being named to the first team a year ago in the American. From the right elbow, won't fall. And there's an offensive rebound. She had 5 of them the other night. Kaba, the freshman, fouled again. Again, the other day against SMU, 16 points for the 10th time, or pardon me, 10 or more points in 4 of the last 5 games for the freshman.
Well, they had her arm under locked on that, but she's getting more physical with every game, and that was a great physical move by her. Little push off right there.
And it is Kaba driving right at Lozada Cabbage, holds her ground, shot off the mark. Second chance opportunity here.
That's the 3rd offensive board of the game so far.
See Keitha Adams across the way, first-year head coach, longtime head coach over there in El Paso and Conference USA with the Miners. She is very familiar with a lot of the former Conference USA programs that now have helped the American flourish. And that pass too tall for the 6'3" freshman to bring in.
Yeah, a little high and hard there, but yeah, I think Coach Adams is not going to be too happy with this start because she really prides herself on rebounding, and she wants her kids to be really strong, and they've already gotten 3 offensive boards, so they're going to have to shore that up a little bit.
Shockers with a chance to take their first lead here early on. Up top, Kiki Thompson, the senior out of Montgomery, Alabama.
They're packing it in pretty tight, trying to keep it out of the middle. I know she wants to try to attack that high post in that defense, and they do right there.
Thompson trying to go into Lozada Cabbage, the 6'2" junior. Back up top to Thompson, and that is a long 2. They'll say foot on the arc for Thompson, who otherwise was just 1 for 6 this year from downtown so far. They want her to be a lot more aggressive and often drive into the paint and create for her teammates.
Well, so far so good. Looks like she's thinking about it.
And a baseline jumper was a good look, but just won't fall for Gregory. And Gregory putting up 13.5 points per contest this year.
Both teams like an up-tempo offense.
And nice job by the Knights simply holding their ground. The rebound will fall into lap, ultimately, of Schuler.
Oh, a little advertent, like, how do you say that?
Yeah, just a little inadvertent.
Inadvertent. Thank you for
go.
completing my sentence there. Turnover there. Second turnover for them.
There you look at the big hire this offseason after they had made a coaching change, parting ways with their last head coach mid-season a year ago last January. As, again, this is a homecoming for Keitha Adams. She grew up about 40 minutes from here, born in Oxford, I say here, from over in Wichita, born in Oxford, Kansas. And it was hard to turn down this offer. I know she had turned down several good opportunities to leave UTEP before, but she really felt like El Paso had become her second home. But it's hard to turn down a chance to return to the Sunflower State.
Well, I like what UCF is doing. They're mixing it up. They trapped them up high earlier, and they're packing it in, so they're making it extremely difficult, trying to get these guys to turn the ball over, but they're turning it over themselves just a little bit.
Shockers had that full court press, almost paid off. Kaba, power dribble. That ball climbs up and over the rim, won't fall through, and it's a rebound by Bassard.
Yeah, she just needs to take her time. She didn't have a lot of people down there for her height, 6'3", so just turn around, slow down a little bit. It's a freshman error.
Shockers in their final year as members of the Missouri Valley Conference last year finished 5th, 15-16 overall. But again, they really flourished the final couple of months under Linda Hargrove, who had coached them for about a decade, but it had been 15 years since she had coached her last basketball game. She's been at every level, of course, Coach Hargrove, but she came out of retirement to help bridge the gap for Wichita State in its final year in the Missouri Valley Conference before they knew they could go through a good hiring process in the offseason. Baseline turnaround will go as the 2 points for Gregory.
Both teams starting to heat up. Lockhart on one end and Gregory on the other. And coach is really high on Gregory, not only as a great athlete, but as a great person.
I think there's a lot of excitement behind both of these head coaches. Again, there you see Coach Abe across the way.
You know, Wichita took Tennessee to 1 point at halftime at Tennessee, so they're capable of doing good things. They've lost a lot of close games. They've had a really tough preseason schedule. And, you know, they have a lot of different ingredients on this team. 4 international players on the new recruiting list that have come in. They have 4 JUCO transfers and 2 Division I transfers. So putting all that together as a new coach is always kind of challenging.
After the tie-up, possession arrow is going to send us the other way. And again, Coach Abe coming from Albany, her most recent stop. You see over 2 decades in Division I as a coach. Last year, a phenomenal showing that who would have guessed in her first year she would take them to the second round of the WNIT. And high expectations already this year, and they're living up to those expectations, off to a 2-0 start already with conference victories over Temple and SMU.
Another turnover.
Angie Tompkins splits defenders. That long body of Tompkins, but they'll call her for footsteps. And the travel will negate the bucket for the Orlando native in a bit of a homecoming here.
I like the energy. I like, you know, what she did. She took it to the glass. Just had a couple little extra steps in there, but she's like, my bad.
Midway through the opening quarter, first ever meeting between the Shockers and Knights with a victory in the American on the line.
Wichita State University is Shocker Nation. We exceed expectations, push boundaries, seize opportunities, and move boldly ahead. We are student-centered and innovation-driven. It's who we are. Our vision is simple but powerful. Create, innovate, collaborate, and celebrate. With one unifying purpose: to shock the world.
People say we're big. Wow. Well, what is big?
This is big.
It's an energy. An opportunity.
This is big, baby!
So go on. Dream big. Because big is just the beginning.
I got it. This is big.
Take a look at the bench for Wichita State. Again, this is a group that has had essentially 3 head coaches in the last 12 months, but Keitha Adams should be a fixture for time to come. You see right behind her, her longtime associate head coach, Ava Leskowska, actually played for Coach Adams at Independent Junior College in Kansas. In fact, that's a theme for both of these coaching staffs. Both Coach Abe last year, Coach Adams this year brought former players to be on their staff and help implement their systems.
Well, if you say she's been up there for a while with her, let's talk about 19 years together. I mean, who does that? That's just an ingredient for success, and good for her and good for Coach Abe having the quality of assistants and being able to keep them together. You know, you have to be good to your assistants to keep them around, and they both have been.
There you see Coach Abe. The one player, or pardon me, the one coach on Coach Abe's staff that did not play for her, well, you can understand why she still wanted to hire her. And Nikesha Sales, the 8-time WNBA All-Star, former UConn Husky.
Well, what a brilliant hire that is, and I don't think there's enough coaches in the country hiring these former NBA players. You know, they're sitting around, they want to get in, they don't know how to get in, and she was aggressive and went and got her, and I think she's been a great example. Talking to her the other day, you and I, she was talking about the fact that she can't even have them practice against her team because, you know, she's going to beat them every single time, so she's almost too good to be a practice player.
You saw the fans from Wichita State traveling. Well, why wouldn't you? A chance to go to Orlando in January?
Well, I think Coach Abe was kind of bragging about that for a long time, about how she has to recruit everybody to Orlando,
yep.
Florida.
Palm trees are referenced quite a bit in the recruiting pitch.
I think it's a little better than Albany.
As slightly warmer this time of year. Welcome back, Lincoln Rose, Angela Beck, and just bumped off the mark was Cabo, looking to pull this one even. Wichita State with a chance to take a 2-possession lead here early on, as the Shockers looking for their first win as members of the American after dropping their first 2 matches against Tulsa, and most recently both these teams were in Texas. Wichita State was in Houston the other night, while the Knights were over in Dallas against SMU. Able to maintain the dribble and sent out to Wilson. L'Oreal Wilson, the junior out of Kenner, Louisiana, giving them about 5 points, 4 rebounds a ball game.
Little position man-to-man, but they're doing some switching too, so it's confusing their offense a little bit.
Gregory from 16 straight away, able to hit on her second chance on that offensive possession.
I think Coach Abe's going to be really happy. She wants to get Gregory, you know, putting up some points tonight.
Yeah, again, Gregory a year ago, first team all-conference as a junior. Number 6 scorer all-time in UCF program history, eclipsing 1,000 points last year for her career. A little pull up from the wing. And a nice contribution off the bench from Wilson, the junior. Wilson was among the top junior college players in the nation, had 10 points the other night against SMU, giving them about 17.5 minutes off the bench.
Yeah, I think she's ever evolving and starting to really get a feel for what coaches want her to do.
So just like that, a little 4-0 run for UCF to give them the lead, and it's another walk on the Shockers and Angie Tompkins.
I think they're doing a great job right now defensively because they're taking their high post in the 3-2 defense and doubling down low, and it's not allowing them to get the ball inside to Bassard, and that's the key. They want to try to get it down low.
Coach Adams led UTEP to 2 NCAA tournament runs, a couple of WNITs as well, a former Coach of the Year over in Conference USA.
A little bit sloppy here early. Some unforced errors. I think that's about the 5th one for the Knights. They just need to slow down a little bit offensively, kind of get their rhythm, but I think everyone's excited. They're playing at home. They're 2-0, so they're pretty fired up.
A lot of good things are happening on campus at UCF these days. Obviously, football under Scott Frost finishes undefeated. They've got a good coach in the wings now, and Coach Heupel looking to take over. And they, of course, announced the parade on Monday as well. It's going to be a festive weekend overall here. And you talk about the holiday season. Well, UCF certainly has had some good things that we'll have a chance to dive into a little bit deeper as well and giving back to the community. But Wichita State looking for that first victory as members of the American. This is a program that is not unfamiliar with 20-win seasons in recent years.
Well, spending 11 years at Nebraska, I'm pretty excited about Scott Frost coming home. He was the backup quarterback when I was there, and he did a fine job. And we're excited to have him.
Diamond Lockhart, former Texas Tech Red Raider, now in her 5th year, wrapping up her senior campaign, able to connect on that last one. And boy, as Lockhart stepped up her game, now 10 points a ball game this year after 3.5 points a game a year ago for the Shockers.
Yep, she brings a lot of energy to the team, and that's what she's looking for. Shockers hanging in there.
This the moment ago, the three-pointer from Lockhart. He's just hitting 19% from downtown so far this year. Able to connect on her first here tonight.
They've had 3 games this year where they haven't hit any threes, so I'm sure hitting a 3 for the coaching staff is a real positive.
Yeah, that included the other day in Texas. Looking for help. And straight away, just off the mark from Kayla Thigpen out of West Palm Beach, the junior. And ultimately, UCF one and done. Shockers with the 1-point advantage, 1.5 minutes to go here in the opening quarter. Glad to have you with us here on the American Digital Network. Ball lobbed inside, looking for Tompkins. And last touch by the Knights, it'll stay on this end.
Well, that was a nice little play. They pulled Bassard out and then tried to lob it to the other post and down low.
Again, Tompkins up top. Rebound out to Wilson.
Probably not the shot they wanted to have at that time, but
yeah, still had plenty of time on that shot clock when they inbounded the ball. Here's Z Saunders. She played 3 years at Albany under Coach Abe. Had to sit out last year with the NCAA transfer rules. But boy, was she a big part of Coach Abe's transition, being in that locker room as an extra coach essentially for her. And L'Oreal Wilson with another score off the bench.
That was just a nice mid-range jumper, good extension.
And it's the Knights back up by 1.
Good ball movement.
Banging bodies will have a foul that keeps it on this end after the shot was off the mark from the 5th-year senior Bassard.
Well, you knew she was going to take that because she hasn't been touching it. So she got that and she hammered it down low and bodied him up.
He's the number 21 ranked scorer so far in the NCAA this year. 18.8 points a contest. She's adding almost 8 rebounds as well per ball game. Was first team all Missouri Valley Conference last year. And a nice stroke from out on the wing. And the Shockers are back up on top by a pair.
Yeah, Preston from the deep corner.
Jalea Preston, the Houston native. And looking for a little stop and pop. It'll come up short from KK Wright. So we've got a ball game here in the first ever meeting between those Knights of UCF and the visiting Shockers from Wichita, Kansas. It's UCF and Wichita State, second quarter when we return on the American Digital Network.
We are American. The conference of opportunity. The opportunity to chase dreams. The opportunity to make your mark and change the game. Because that's power. We are power.
Don't miss the chance to see your team cut down the nets at the American Athletic Conference Men's Basketball Championship. All the excitement of tournament basketball starts March 8th and runs to the 11th at the Amway Center in Orlando. For tickets, call the Amway Center box office or visit theamerican.org for more information.
Wichita State looking to hand UCF the Knights' first loss in conference play here in the new year. Lincoln Rose, Angela Beck back with you here on ADN. Let's check back in with Eric Courtson.
Lincoln, certainly a tricky game for both sides. Wichita State coming up another road game after the Houston loss, trying to find themselves before going back home. For UCF, this is a tricky game. They're coming off the win on the road at SMU. Upcoming is a big trip against UConn later this week, and then their rivals, USF and Tampa. So they can't look past this game, and listening to UCF try to get that intensity up here in the second quarter. Lincoln, back to you.
Yeah, thank you, Eric. A couple of top 25 matchups on the horizon for UCF. You see Wichita State there, again, trying to bounce back from a 73-55 loss to Coach Huey's Cougars, looking good over there in H-Town.
Yeah, a lot of pressure, a lot of tempo. Just didn't handle the ball very well, shot the ball poorly. She's been talking about putting more shooting in their practices. Also talked about, she likes to run a lot of sets with her teams, and she's making some adjustments now because this team isn't really as good with sets. So now they're running more of a motion offense, trying to get a better flow and get more quality shots.
You talked about this near the start of the broadcast. Didn't want to gloss over it. 8 seniors on this Wichita State team. So Keitha Adams doesn't necessarily have her personnel, but she's adapting and making sure that those 8 seniors have as positive of an experience to remember their careers with as possible before they wrap up this year.
Well, you got to give that to her because they deserve that, and they've been through some, controversial years, and just, it's been tough on them, and they've had some players come and go. So, they've stuck together, and they deserve to have a positive experience, and I think that they really are buying into what she's asking them to do, and she's a great person to have as a mentor. At the same time, if you're graduating 8 players, that means there's some recruiting to be done. It'll be interesting to see what she does. They have 4 international players already on their roster. Do they go get some more? I doubt it, but I think too many would probably be hard to coach, so they've with the mixture of JUCO kids that they have and the international kids, I kind of hope she goes the freshman route and really builds from the ground and gets some really solid kids that she can build 4 years with, because I think that gives her longevity. Wichita State, a student body of about 15,000 at a campus founded back in 1895. They played their first hoops in 1905, took a little hiatus. Now their 44th season of basketball. It is easy to overlook the fact that UCF, the largest campus in the state of Florida, 64,000 students enrolled here in the backyard of Disneyland. But what a job Danny White, as athletic director, has done at UCF with his hires, including Coach Abe last year. And I know Wichita State excited about Keitha Adams and what the near future holds for these Shockers. Well, absolutely, and they're both great hires, and I still can't get over what they said about Coach Bob Stoll, the AD. Talked about Adams, and he was like, you're going to fall in love with her. She was a great coach, a great friend. I just it just does my heart well to know somebody can stay 16 years and not have anybody want her to leave. So I just think she's a long-term coach. She's going to do a wonderful job at Wichita. She loves it because it's a basketball school. And that's, I was at Bradley at one point, and that's all they did. We didn't have football, at Bradley University. So I can see where she goes in there, and she really loves the fact that they can focus on basketball. So again, the Knights 10-5 on the year. More importantly, 2-0 in conference play. But the Shockers trying to hand them their first loss here in 2018, up by a pair.
Don't miss the chance to see your team cut down the nets at the American Athletic Conference Men's Basketball Championship. All the excitement of tournament basketball starts March 8th and runs to the 11th at the Amway Center in Orlando. For tickets, call the Amway Center box office or visit theamerican.org for more information.
It's going to be hard for me but keep reminding me. Because I think I'm used to calling them Wichita.
As Keitha Adams with the Shockers huddled up, set to come out of the timeout. A 2-point advantage. Your thoughts early on? Well, I think, both teams will probably be happy with, where they're at. I'm sure that UCF would like to have a bigger lead, but I know that Coach Adams has got to be thrilled with just hanging in there,
considering Bassard really hasn't touched the ball that often. They've been hitting the outside shots and been working that zone pretty well. She's been wanting to get it into the high post right there, like she just did. Bassard took that shot, boom, and that's where they want to go. That's where they think the weakness of the zone is.
That's how you want to come out after a timeout as the Shockers add on to their lead.
I just think UCF needs to settle down a little bit, run a little more offense, get a few more offensive boards. Early on they did, but now Wichita's kind of short up the rebounding.
Gregory off the mark. Now 2 for 6 here today.
Same zone, just moving the ball side to side, running a little motion offense.
Cross-court pass will set up the shot for Preston. And Jalea Preston, again, the senior, able to connect.
Well, that just might change some things. You know, they've been loving this 3-2 zone, and Wichita State's been ball reversing it, taking their time, finding the open player, and more importantly, hitting the shot.
Preston giving them 6.5 points per contest. Perfect from beyond the arc now today.
It's a little tough floater by Wilson that time. UCF just needs to get a little rhythm. It's a little bit matchup zone now, a little 3-2 zone of their own. So they've been kind of switching up their defenses a little bit.
Wilson denied the baseline. 6 to shoot. Wilson's shot deflected by Thompson. And the Shockers will take it the other way. Wichita State has now established their largest advantage of the day, 7 points over the home team Knights. Looking to make it a double-digit advantage. The three-pointer won't fall for Lockhart, but we'll keep it right here.
Well, it's an excellent shot. You know, inside, back out, open shot. Just didn't hit it, but I like the way, the rhythm, and the flow that Wichita has right now against this 3-2 defense.
As you see both Thigpen and Wilson returning to the bench.
Coach Abe seems to be pretty calm right now, sitting down, just letting them figure it out. Ball reversal, that's the key right there. Inside out, ball reverse.
Bassard with 4 white shirts nearby, just couldn't get it to fall. Ultimately the rebound down to Wright. KK. It's her defender off her feet, and KK Wright pours in a pair. And she's able to shake free from Kiki.
Well, Coach called her the most improved player. That was a nice little touch shot by her on the inside, and they need more of that from her.
Gregory will bounce feed into Saunders with the easy 2. The assist again from Gregory.
Well, Z did a nice job of pulling that in, squaring up, and getting a nice finish.
Mentioned Saunders played 3 years at Albany with Coach A, but she's from Augusta, Georgia, so not far from home now. Returning to the south, and we'll get a bump foul at the timeline.
Yeah, Coach thought when she had to sit out 16, 17 year that, you know, she was a coach on the, you know, in the locker room, and it really helped her develop her game, and she's become more of a scorer. She used to be just a passer, and now she's a scorer for them, and that really gives them the balance that they need.
Saunders has stepped up this year, 13.5 points a game, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, really filling up the box score. She's scored in double figures 7 of her 10 games this year, and well, they're making it look easy with the freshman Masani Kaba.
Well, that's what they're known for. That's their game right there. Get a steal on one end, push the tempo, get it inside and finish. And that time, Kaba took her time and squared up, and they had a nice shot.
Again, Kaba out of Massachusetts has been on the radar of Coach Abe since back when she was at Albany.
Looks like UCF has picked up their intensity a bit. They were a little bit flat in that zone, although they just picked it apart. But, I mean, now they have a little more intensity, making it tougher on them.
That'll end a 6-0 run for the Knights as Wichita State able to expand their lead.
Let's see if they get a little ball reversal on this. There we go. Opens it up down low.
Kaba finds Gregory. What a tandem that is to have. They're going to say no. A 3-second call in the paint will negate the bucket and give it back over to Wichita State.
Better offensive production, though. Good ball movement, little inside-out action, but just didn't get out of the lane. She's like, oh gosh, I really wish she would have. That was my 2 points.
Otherwise, looked good. Over the shoulder there of Sabrina Lozada-Cabbage out of Santa Fe, New Mexico, the junior. And you see the press. That turnover will lead to points here for the Knights. Another offensive rebound, this time for KK Wright at all of 5'7".
Defense, the full court press is definitely causing them trouble. I can see them staying in it for a long time. And but their shot selection and just their ability just to get that open J and connect is just a little bit sloppy.
So Wright set to pull the trigger here.
Well, man-to-man.
And Wright just off the mark, off the front iron. Another offensive rebound. Kaba creating a second chance opportunity. Count the bucket. And a free throw to come for Nyla Schuler.
That's great team effort right there. Another offensive board, good interior pass, and a good finish. Right here, Kaba gets it, fires it inside, drop step, good strong finish.
So a chance to pull even after trailing by 7 moments ago. And the Shockers are going to hang on to that 1-point lead. And Schuler now 6 of 16 from the free throw line this year.
One-3-1 offense versus that 3-2.
Now some space on that baseline, and they're going to get the foul called against Schuler, who thought she was holding her ground, but inside that arc.
One of the things that Coach Adams wanted to do for Wichita was, you know, fake a pass to make a pass. You know, don't try to, you know, telegraph what you're doing. And I think they're doing a good job of not putting the ball on the floor a lot and getting good ball movement.
Well, no, UCF trailing, but they have 7 offensive rebounds, 3 of them already for Kaba, giving them some extra bites at the apple.
Someone must have told her, you know, you get a couple offensive rebounds, you get a couple more opportunities to score, and that really has picked up her offense.
After the whistle, Schuler will step out. Angie Tompkins with another free throw coming up. She's 15 of 20, making 16 of 21 this year. And back to a 3-point lead for Wichita State. Their first ever journey to Orlando to face UCF here at CFE Arena.
Pretty clean game, not a lot of fouls, not a lot of stop of action.
Glad they got our memo. Saunders with the nice baseline jumper. And it is a brand new ball game inside of 5 minutes to go in the opening half. Again, we'll have a chance to check back in with Eric Lopez. He'll talk to both of the head coaches surrounding halftime.
A lot of fake passes. Watch him fake the pass, make the pass, good interior pass.
And the Knights just were denying position in the post consistently, but ultimately that ball last touched by UCF. It'll stay here for the Shockers, and I believe just about 5 seconds left on the shot clock now. As you see, Cesario Ambrosio will get a breather. Well, they wanted to go to plan A. They force it in, and they'll never get a shot off. Gregory. And the Shockers take it right back. Wichita State up by 1 with 4 minutes to go in the second quarter. Back and forth between Stovall and Lockhart, a pair of Texans leading this offense for Wichita State up top. Oh, quick feed, the nifty reverse. Angie Tompkins had no choice but to score with that one.
Coach was talking about Tompkins, about, you know, how she's a special player and she's extremely talented, and if she can just put in that work every single day in practice, that she's got some special things happening for her.
Seven to shoot off the side of the iron, 1 and done. Rebound to Lozada-Cabbage, who sends it up ahead to Lockhart. And no transition bucket, but how about some second chance opportunities? And that would have been a 3, but off the mark rebound. Came down to Saunders. Up ahead, finds in stride Kaba.
Well, that shows her athleticism right there, her great hands. She really squared up to the basket and took her time. This kid's going to be special.
It's a nice 6'3" target, hard to miss. And Tompkins just a little too far underneath the basket. The ball winds up with KK Wright.
Nice 2 reversals in a row.
Shockers do a nice job getting back defensively. Wright will step inside the arc, finds her range.
KK Wright, she's most improved, and you know, when a coach says that, she's liking a lot of things that you're doing.
He had 10 points the other day against SMU and a rare victory in Dallas for this program over the years. I have a feeling we might see a few more victories fall the way for UCF in conference play. And last year in the WNIT, how about the wraparound pass from Tompkins? And I think even her teammate Bessard was surprised.
Oh, that was a great pass, no-look pass. Bessard's been a little frustrated. You know, she's averaging 22 points in league play and really hasn't gotten her rhythm going, taking a few outside shots that were probably not what she needed. Her percentage is not that good out there. Just needs to be patient, let the game come to her.
Saunders never got any breathing room. And Wichita State again will have a chance to reclaim the advantage. A back and forth ball game here in this opening half between UCF and Wichita State.
See who can close out now. Like the patience, the ball movement.
Tompkins from the elbow. And again, UCF not giving up the offensive rebound.
Exactly where they wanted it to go, just didn't have the result they wanted to, but nice offensive movement.
Big Pin draws, foul, and do you count the bucket? You would think so.
Yeah, I think that's a and one. I'm happy for Thigpen. She's changed positions from a guard to a post. Here she says, Coach, I'm still a guard. I can still get to the rack. And she finishes strong. So, you know, people that sacrifice for their team like that, she's willing to do whatever it takes, doesn't care about her points, but it's nice to see them score and be able to highlight.
Knights are 2 for 3 from the line today. This is the first trip for Thigpen, who's 13 of 19 this year. And 14 of 20 will complete the 3-point play, and UCF with the 4-point advantage now. I believe that gives UCF its largest lead after trailing by 7. Well, 15-footer won't go. Tompkins, great effort, but won't be rewarded. And UCF just throws it away. Could have held essentially for the final shot.
A little sloppy on both ends. Let's see who can close out here. Final shot.
You see that count in the backcourt. Of course, that's something that the women had to get used to a few years ago, as we've also since moved to quarters instead of halves. We still have halves, I guess.
We have halftime.
And just a desperation three, but it goes through for Lozada Cabbage. How about that answer?
It'll be right here. Okay.
And it pulls Wichita State within 1 at halftime.
Well, they'll take that. She's been a steady performer for her all year.
Hey guys, coach is coming.
And she's capable of that, so good for her.
So again, UCF hanging on to a 1-point lead. As let's go ahead and check in with Eric.
All right, coach, I know it was a slow start, but you got back in it after falling by 7. What was the key to get you back in there?
Defense always prepares us. Defense always getting us going. And actually 35 was out of the game, so that helped us get it going a little bit. So we got to do a better job of concentrating on her and trying to get our press down.
What do you want to see here in the second half from your offense?
More ball movement, better shots, and we need to get the ball to Demostheny because she can score down there today.
Good luck, Coach.
Thank you.
Back to you, Lincoln.
All right, thank you very much, Eric. Ultimately, Kaba, the freshman with 6 points, is your leading scorer. But every Knight who's stepped on the court has put points on the board. But it's been a back-and-forth ball game. Shockers, in pursuit of their first victory as members of the American, could very well get it done today here on the road. It's halftime on the American Digital Network.
We are underway from the American. Don't miss the chance to see your team cut down the nets March 3rd to the 6th. Call the Mohegan Sun Arena or visit us online to purchase tickets today.
Wichita State University is Shocker Nation. We exceed expectations, push boundaries, seize opportunities, and move boldly ahead. We are student-centered and innovation-driven. It's who we are. Our vision is simple but powerful. Create, innovate, collaborate, and celebrate. With one unifying purpose: to shock the world.
The team goals this season is to come together as a team through adversity. Our goal has been all team-oriented. And the best way to do that is to make sure that we help one another out. You know, we have 6 international players this year. I've never experienced that before, and so it's a change. So when you have 6 international players and they're all just from different areas and they may feel homesick, we have to learn that team is a family. We're a family. And so that's what we've been basing our goals around, is just being the best team that we can be.
You know, I think sky's the limit. It's whatever our captains want. I mean, I'm a big believer in whatever the team wants, that's what they're going to accomplish. And whatever you think you can do, that's what you're going to do. And whatever you think you can't do, that's what you're going to do too. And so I really am, as that coach, is I put all the empowerment on them and what they want. But really this season is for our seniors. Last year's was for our seniors, and they accomplished a lot. So this year is for our seniors again, and we have some, you know, pretty powerful seniors on our team.
You know, I think it's whatever we make it. You know, I'm a big dreamer. I'm a visionary. I believe the sky's the limit. I think a lot of times people sell themselves short. But you know, we sold out crowds. We had 2 sellouts, 12,222 at UTEP, and I want to sell out Coke Arena, and I want for our fans to really feel connected to our program, and championships and sellouts. I think that's be a dream come true right there at WSU.
Our goals are really team goals. We don't really discuss our goals that often, so it's kind of, we know what we have to do, we know what we want to get to, and just got to work hard to get there.
This has been a really great experience, this bowl game, to spend some more time around them and be around them one more time. It will be bittersweet tomorrow. This certainly is an ideal situation for the players or for me or for my staff, but we all care about each other, and I don't know what the alternative would have been. So we're doing the best we can, and the guys have prepared well, and it's been an honor to be around. I know our guys are going to battle. They're fighters, and they're looking forward to it. But win or lose in this game, this was a special group of guys, and it was a special season.
2nd and 10. Milton fumbled the ball, and it's out on the turf. Auburn picks it up. Milton pressured, gets away. Milton gonna run inside the 10. Touchdown! Griffin gets right into the backfield, and he gets Stidham down. Inside, just a pure pass rush from him, and he and his teammates get there. Back to the 30. Long this year, 47. This kick is on the way, and it is good. 3rd and 13. Stidham pressured immediately. Stidham goes down. Fake reverse. Milton, almost like a basketball player. Touchdown! What a play! He put a move on. And in the pocket, throws. It's intercepted, and it's going the other way. Burkett, touchdown! The clock winds. Good rush. Stidham under pressure, throws it. Intercepted! I don't know if he was trying to throw it away or what. But UCF is 24 seconds away from perfection.
We had a long way to go, and to think that they're sitting here, Peach Bowl champions and 13-0 in 2 years, I couldn't be happier for them. You know, I told them it's onward and upward from here for UCF.
Like our coach always told us, one thing we can do is keep winning games, and I don't think we have any more games left to win. So I guess to the college committee, it's just, what more can we do? We won all of them, and I just feel that we should have had an opportunity to show our talents to any and every team that wanted to go against us.
My first year when I got here, she asked if she could do it, and I said, absolutely, and I didn't even know what happened. And she told me the story, and I said, wow, that's a really great cause, and it's a really neat way for you to express your hurt in a positive way.
Domestic violence is a cause that's dear to my heart. My freshman year, I just came up with the idea to donate to a family that would be in need, and me and my mom kind of got together and said we should do it for a domestic violence shelter.
It's wonderful that she wants to do something for young people and give toys to, kids that don't have something, that may have lost a parent, that may have lost a sister or brother, or to give back to little kids that maybe don't have that family member there anymore to provide for them. It's just really cool.
It's really the fact that UCF has put this together and Aaliyah has done this. I mean, throughout the last 4 years, we've had season tickets. We've been able to bring toys every year, and it's just a true honor to be able to give back to the community.
They bought in. We can't do it without them, and they really came in to help us out. It was just great to have them really support us, and just really help us out. And it turned out to be unbelievable. The results show for itself.
Over 700 toys is amazing, especially since last year we only had about like 400 and something. So we almost doubled what we had last year in just a year. So I think it's really heartwarming to me that we were able to do so much for so many people.
Aaliyah is one of the most caring, giving people I know.
It just speaks volumes about her character and, that she's more than an athlete. So.
Absolutely. It's giving back to the community. I think this is what not only Danny White, but Coach Abe and the other coaches, the character that they build in our student athlete, not only to be a representative of the university as they play their sport, but also be a representative to society and to the community.
I can tell that she was really excited and that she got all those toys and that people are listening to her cause. And I think it's just such a great thing for her family. It shows her family that she's going to keep the memory alive.
It means a lot. It had little to do with me and everything to do with the people in the community. And I had a lot of people helping me getting the word out and things like that. So it means a lot.
Love to say thank you so much for all the help and all the the donating and support that you give to us, and we really appreciate the community, and I just thank you so much.
We couldn't have done it without you guys, and thank you for supporting a great cause and being able to help someone else have a great Christmas.
People say we're big. Wow. Well, what is big?
This is big.
It's an energy. An opportunity.
This is big, baby!
So go on. Dream big. Because big is just the beginning.
I got it. This is big.
We are American. The conference of opportunity. The opportunity to chase dreams. The opportunity to make your mark and change the game. Because that's power. We are power.
Don't miss the chance to see your team cut down the nets at the American Athletic Conference Men's Basketball Championship. All the excitement of tournament basketball starts March 8th and runs to the 11th at the Amway Center in Orlando. For tickets, call the Amway Center box office or visit theamerican.org for more information.
Halftime in Orlando, first ever meeting between the Knights and the Shockers, and after trailing by as many as 7 in the opening half, UCF battling back to take a 1-point lead. Lincoln Rose, Angela Beck back with you here at the half, and well, we take a look, a back and forth affair. This is a Shockers team struggled from beyond the arc the other day against Houston. They were 0 for 11 downtown, not a problem today.
Not a problem today. 4 of 7 with Lockhart and Preston firing away from 3 points. So that's kept him in the game since Bassard is 1 for 9 and having a hard time.
Yeah, we thought Ranji Bassard would be their key in the post. We heard rather from Coach Abe talk about how with Bassard off the floor for a while there, UCF was able to make their run.
Well, yeah, they were able to make their run, and their run they did. And their defense, they're mixing it up. They're keeping them off kilter a little bit. Luckily, Kaba's come through. She's had 3 offensive rebounds, and she's finished strong at the hoop. Wilson's been pretty good, and then there's Thigpen, and then at the end, they're knocking it home at the buzzer.
Lozada Cabbage just throws up a desperation shot before the final seconds of the opening half, and it turns a 4-point deficit down to 1. So the Knights off to a 2-0 start in conference play in the American. We've constantly mentioned this, just the strides that UCF has already made, and Wichita State is hoping that today is that first step forward, really, as members of the American. When we come back, we'll have a chance to check in with Eric Lopez and head coach of those Shockers, Keitha Adams, when we return here on ADN.
We are underway from the American. Don't miss the chance to see your team cut down the nets March 3rd to the 6th. Call the Mohegan Sun Arena or visit us online to purchase tickets today.
We are American. The conference of opportunity. The opportunity to chase dreams. The opportunity to make your mark and change the game. Because that's power. We are power.
Both teams emerging for the second half out of the locker room. Again, Wichita State within 1. Leading scorer for Wichita State, Preston, with 6 points, hitting both of her 3-pointers attempted in that first half. 5 points apiece for both Lockhart and Lozada Cabbage. Of course, she hit that 3 right before the buzzer. For UCF here at home with the advantage right now, up by 1. 6 points, the team high from the freshman Kaba. 3 offensive rebounds, 4 boards total for the newcomer, and what a career they expect she will have here in Orlando. 4 points apiece from 4 of her teammates, Wright, Saunders, the starters, as well as Gregory and Wilson. And so those are some of your key players so far here today. Thrilled to kick off our American Digital Network coverage with UCF and Wichita State, of course, one of the newest members joining the American this year. But it should be a great season coming up here on ADN. Look forward to our next matchup 1 week from today. But let's toss it back to Eric. He's with Keitha Adams.
Coach, what do you got to do here in the second half to pull off this victory?
Rebound, rebound, rebound. We got to keep them off the glass. Can't give them the second, third opportunities.
What do you want to see from your offense here down the stretch as well? You seem to get some good shots inside when you protected the basketball.
Like for our posts to be more active and really flashing and diving and finding the holes in the zone. Our guards got to continue to attack the basket, make ball fakes. We got to take care of the ball. Turnovers resulted into transition points for them, so we got to rebound and take care of the ball.
Good luck, Coach.
Thank you.
Back to you, Lincoln.
Yeah, obviously 2 veteran head coaches here for UCF and Wichita State, both a lot of confidence, and both were very generous with their time this week when we had them on the conference calls. Keitha Adams at Wichita State. Angela, you asked her directly, look, are you the kind of coach who's going to try to force a a square peg into a round hole, or are you going to adapt to the personnel you have? And she said, well, of course, I've coached at so many different levels. I know how to make adjustments based on my roster.
Absolutely. She's going to adapt to her roster, and that's what you should do. She's going to go in there. She said her #1 goal, I said, what do you want to do? And she goes, I want to get to know the players. And then I want to get to know my university, and she's had so much respect at UTEP that I'm sure that she's going to respect the processes that Wichita State has in there for her. And then she wants to respect her seniors and bring a positive energy. And she said, Lincoln, if anything happens, I want you guys to talk about the positive energy I want to bring.
Oh boy, would there be some positive energy here in Florida for them if they were to pick up their first road win of the year. They are 0 for 7 in their first 7 trips outside of Kansas.
Yeah, they've had a tough time on the road, so I'm sure they're thrilled with their position right now. But they've had good experiences, and like I said, been at Tennessee. They've been in bigger arenas with bigger pressure, and this probably is not a big deal for them to be on the road here.
And the Knights will have the ball here with 3 seconds to get a shot off.
Yeah, they get stuck on one side there. They just had 3 or 4 passes, never really tilted it or countered it and attacked it, and that's what they need to do is get better ball movement.
And just turned right over as Kiki Thompson at 5'5", still tall enough to pick that one off.
No real big shifts in the defense. You see the same defense that they always done, but she talked a little bit about trying to find the seam there. They found the seam, got her to touch the ball. Bassard hasn't touched the ball. That was a quality shot for her.
That's the start they needed from Bassard to get her going here in the third quarter, averaging 19 points a game, but only had 1 field goal in that first half.
If I had a scouting report, I say that the Knights are right side oriented. If you look, they start their offense on the right side and they keep it there a majority of the time. So I'm going to have my greatest defenders on that side because rarely do they tilt it to that left side. So let's see if that happens in the second half.
Wichita State trailed by 1 at halftime, a 1-point lead right now. Knights trying to reclaim the lead with Kaba. That's plan A every time on the inbounds.
Well, that was a great cut. Coach talked at halftime how she can be scoring more. And that was designed for her. Nice play from the coaching staff.
Kaba with 8 points for the game high. That ball will dance around, and ultimately being pushed off the block was Bassard. And that will keep the ball on this end. The foul against the Knights.
Lincoln, another quote from Coach Adams was, I want them to shoot it before they turn it over. And I like that kind of coach, so she's letting them fire it up. I mean, they've taken a few bad shots, but generally, they do have the green light if they're open to put it up, and that's a great thing to bring into a program.
So stepping off the court, Nyla Schuler, again, one of the hometown players for UCF, but this is a very diverse roster, players from all over the country. As much talent as there is in Florida, UCF can recruit nationally. And that ball stripped away by Kaba. Shockers never got that shot off that time. Feed up ahead and through the hands of Thigpen, they give it right back. Thigpen's moved into the post some this year with some size disadvantages UCF has had. She's at 5'8". It's a team that is without Fifi Indoor, without Tolu Omakore, and UCF not making any excuses despite the absence of those 2 talented players.
Well, that's a big loss for them for sure. They've had to make a lot of adjustments. One of them is Thigpen. That ball hit her in the hands. She needs to catch that and score that next time. That's the double down. They're doubling down every time she gets it. She's not going to be able to put that ball down.
Saunders held her ground, wound up with the loose ball. Trying to get it back is Thompson, and ultimately the scrum as Kaba goes down to tie up Kiki Thompson.
Similar teams, coaches are similar. They like to be scrappy. They like to get on the ground. There's a double team right there. I mean, she had position, and Bassard just ran into a train wreck right there.
Saunders firmly planted. As Shockers will regain the lead 30-29 here in the third quarter.
Another quick transition bucket. Not afraid to shoot the ball like I said before. Let's see if they go to the right side and stay there. Here we go. Left.
And the foul will be called on Lozada Cabbage.
That's what ball reversal does for you.
Any notable changes you've seen from these two teams coming out of the locker room?
No, I mean, it's similar. I think I see more confidence in Wichita because they've stuck in there, and I feel like they're a little looser of the two. I still feel that UCF doesn't have a good rhythm, and they really haven't found it. Their ball movement is just not what it should be. I think it's really because Wichita's mixing up their defenses and keeping them a little off kilter.
Kava, good positioning, but ultimately won't fall. Dove all up ahead to Thompson. They'll work it around, and, well, now 2 field goals here in the third quarter for Bassard. She's got 6 points on the ball game.
Well, you knew if she went 1 for 9 in the first half, she was probably a good chance she wasn't going 1 for 9 in the second half. So, yeah, she had a great high post shot there. That's where coach said, you know, we want to get the ball there, and I guess she's giving them the green light.
UCF wants a timeout. They'll take it down by 3, 32-29. Shockers up.
Wichita State University is Shocker Nation. We exceed expectations, push boundaries, seize opportunities, and move boldly ahead. We are student-centered and innovation-driven. It's who we are. Our vision is simple but powerful. Create, innovate, collaborate, and celebrate. With one unifying purpose: to shock the world.
People say we're big. Wow. Well, what is big?
This is big.
It's an energy. An opportunity.
This is big, baby!
So go on. Dream big. Because big is just the beginning.
I got it. This is big.
We are American. The conference of opportunity. The opportunity to chase dreams. The opportunity to make your mark and change the game. Because that's power. We are power.
We are underway from the American. Don't miss the chance to see your team cut down the nets March 3rd to the 6th. Call the Mohegan Sun Arena or visit us online to purchase tickets today.
Well, UCF a year ago, 21 wins, just 12 losses, went 9-7, and the American would make it all the way into the conference tournament semifinals as the 4 seed. Ultimately would go on to the WNIT, making it into the second round. A year later, UCF 10-5, 2-0 here in conference. You know, last year when we were talking to Coach Abe, she was talking about UCF, their goal, just look, we want to surpass last year's win total. They did that easily early in conference play. This year, it's a little bit harder to show progress, but you imagine they can continue to see growth from one game to the next.
I think being preseason ranked 4th, they finished 4th. I mean, I see them being in that upper 4. They already beat Temple, and Temple was ranked 3rd. So, you know, if they keep improving and keep playing together as a team, I see them being one of the great teams in the league.
And a foul down low. 6.5 to go here in the third quarter. Lincoln Rose, Angela Beck with you. Eric Lopez on the sidelines. Here's CFE Arena.
What a good addition Wichita State is, though. If they're doing this already, I mean, this is competition. They're not getting beat by 20. They're not. I mean, this is a game.
Last year was pretty much the exception for them, a down year. This is very much a basketball school, and that is what has Keitha Adams excited to be surrounded by that kind of community. As the Knights.
Z had a nice little jumper, and I'm sure they're happy to see that. They want more offense out of her, and that was a great finish for her. Now they switched to a 2-3 zone. This is the first switch I've seen all game. Or they're mixing up their defense a little.
Thought they had an opening there for a moment on the wing with Lockhart. They'll swing it around. Shot clock down to 4. Thompson just pushes off of that left arm. An easy call. The offensive foul.
Yeah, that's nice. That's nice defense by Kaba. That's a freshman, 6'3", just getting her legs underneath her, and what a great charge for her. If you can get your big girl falling on the ground like that, there's good things to come.
And that was a freshman drawing a charge from the senior. We noted Angie Tompkins is from right here in Orlando. Went to Charlotte High School. Actually started her college career at South Georgia Tech before becoming a Shocker. And it's going up to get the rebound, Thompson. Shockers need to be careful. Leaving your feet before you know where you're going with the basketball. Was fortunate to have Lockhart there to bail her out, but then the travel a split second later.
Yeah, that's not going to make her new coach too happy. Halftime, they want to cut down the turnovers and they want to rebound, and that's what they have to focus on.
So the Knights will have another chance to push back ahead. Kaba catches it right in stride. Ball just won't go home. And the Shockers still lead by 1 here midway through the third.
It's just another, freshman trying to get her wings underneath her. She'll learn that you just take your time. You're 6'3", nobody else is.
So Kaba's still stuck on 8 points. Meanwhile, Angie Tompkins trying to earn some free throws.
Well, I can see why, Coach wants Thompson to be more aggressive because she is a talent. That kid, 6'2" senior, she's being more productive every game, and she does have a lot of skill.
Shockers with the 1-point lead, 4:48 still to go here in the third quarter. You're watching American women's basketball on ADN.
Wichita State University is Shocker Nation. We exceed expectations, push boundaries, seize opportunities, and move boldly ahead. We are student-centered and innovation-driven. It's who we are. Our vision is simple but powerful. Create, innovate, collaborate, and celebrate. With one unifying purpose: to shock the world.
People say we're big. Well, what is big?
This is big.
It's an energy. An opportunity.
This is big, baby!
So go on. Dream big. Because big is just the beginning.
I got it. This is big.
Still a tight one in Orlando between UCF and Wichita State. A 1-point ball game at the half in favor of those Knights. As the Pep Band out in attendance. A nice atmosphere here early in 2018. Classes haven't quite started back up yet. You miss the days of those college breaks?
I have quite a few breaks now, so I guess no. I just tried to catch my breath back then when you had a break. So.
You were able to make it out onto the course yesterday.
Yeah, did a little golfing here. Orlando's pretty nice, so we were able to get a little golf in there and saw some nice courses.
As, again, Wichita State looking for its first conference victory, an 0-2 start so far. Picked to finish 10th in the league simply because of unknown expectations for a team joining a new conference. You have a feeling Wichita State will be a group that'll be tough to deal with in the near future. Volleyball was phenomenal this year as they claimed the American Championship, their first conference title as members of the American coming in volleyball.
I think Coach Adams is going to have them rolling here soon, but it's going to take a little time, and I can tell by just talking to her that she's extremely experienced. She has great X and O ability. A lot of times you're seeing these assistants take over these programs, and they're more recruiters than X and O people. She's an X and O person. That's what she does, and I think she's going to figure it out.
Foul was on the floor before the last timeout. So no free throws here. How about a three-pointer from the wing? It'll be off the mark. Cabo with the rebound. UCF still trailing by 1 and will commit the foul in the transition.
That's Caba's 4th turnover. Going to take their time. Both teams are just being a little sloppy in transition.
Well, it's a UCF team. Really, both these teams had aggressive non-conference schedules, but UCF on their schedule this year has 12 opponents who were either in the NCAA tournament last year or the WNIT, as they are tested here entering conference play.
Lots of patience. That's a foul, you know, quite a distance from the basket. Not a foul you want to see at this point. There hasn't been like one person totally dominating this game on either side. You thought maybe Caba might dominate it. You thought Bessard, but let's see if maybe down the stretch they start focusing on that. I know both coaches want to get the ball into their bigs.
Again, if either team was going to have one player, it'd be Bessard with Wichita State traditionally with her almost 19 points ball game, but a slow start in the first half where she only had 2 points. Now 4 more points here in the third quarter for Bessard. Dockers hanging on to a 1-point lead on the road. Mentioned they're 0 for 7 in road games so far this year, and almost able to force the turnover was Bessard that time. The Knights get it back with 8 to shoot. Shot clock down to 2. And a long 2 won't go. And another offensive rebound for the Knights.
Well, that's what they need right there. That was Thigpen with the shot up top and just a good rebounding effort.
Kayla Thigpen directing traffic right now. And back over to the Shockers.
Yeah, it's going to have to be inside out. Both teams are digging down really hard.
Mentioned Shockers could not hit a three-pointer against Houston the other night. One of a handful of ball games where they went 0 for. Not the case today. They had 4 triples in the first half. UCF was just 0 for 1 shooting from downtown in the first 2 quarters. Not part of their game plan early on.
I think they're more comfortable shooting against that zone, and because they're patient and have good ball movement, they're able to find more open. Against Houston, a little bit more scrappy man-to-man pressure, a little more difficult.
L'Oreal Wilson's at the line, the junior out of Louisiana, a 50% free throw shooter here. Limited sample size, is 8 of 16 from the line this season.
Junior college transfer, averaged 21 points in JUCO, so she can dial it up.
Had a double-digit performance on the road at SMU the other day with 10 points. As you see, Keitha Adams looking on. And just like that, UCF has reestablished its 1-point lead it had at halftime, now 7 minutes into the second half.
I don't think if you would have scripted it, you would have thought they'd been behind most of this game, but that's kind of what's happened. Wichita's really controlled the tempo of the game, taken their time, had a few turnovers, but generally speaking, have had good flow.
Wichita State had the largest lead of the ballgame, up by 7, and that's an offensive foul. As Thompson left her feet a little early.
That was a great defensive charge.
And Thompson giving them about 5.5 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists. They want her to be more aggressive, but that time just needs to be a little smarter in the paint. Into Caba. And a nice job finding her open teammate. Helping her out was Saunders, as the freshman finds the senior that time.
That's the first double team that I've seen people pass out of, and that was a great double team down low, and she took her time and found the open man.
UCF is not making it easy to bring the ball up court. Again, Shockers led by as many as 7 in the first half, down by 3, and now it's a 1-point ball game, a chance to tie with a free throw coming up here in just a moment.
That was a little 2-3, and then they ran a little high-low with Tompkin and Bessard, and Tompkin really flashed that gap well and found her open man down low.
It was a bit of a homecoming for Rangy Bessard and a couple of her teammates from the Houston area when they played at the University of Houston. I say at University of Houston, it's a home game, but they're playing their home games this year over at Texas Southern, a member of the SWAC, as they continue to renovate what was Hofheinz Pavilion. They already have that great practice facility at U of H, and it's going to be matched by a fantastic game day atmosphere as well soon.
Yes, it's a brilliant facility. We toured that practice facility last year, and I was quite impressed.
Still 16 to shoot, 2 minutes to go here in the third.
That's Wilson, and she's been money from that range. I think that 12-foot range of hers is her sweet spot, and she's just been catching and shooting. She hasn't been thinking about it. She just catches it and shoots it, and that's what I like.
They'll give the Knights the lead again, 37-35 here at home.
A little bit more trapping coming out, a little more aggression you can see from UCF. Back to their 3-2.
Knights are so active pestering the basketball. And a hand in the face. Give credit for altering the shot to Nyla Schuler. And now a foul in the post.
Well, Tompkins again with a really fine pass inside to Bassard. She was up in the air and just really soft touch, boom, and hits her down low. Not Bassard, but Cabbage.
It'll be a couple of free throws coming up for Sabrina. Came into today 14 of 19.
In a little bit of foul trouble, got 3 fouls earlier tonight, or this afternoon, and you could tell she was visibly upset that she was taken out of the game. So she's a competitor, she's a fighter, she wants to be in there.
That was her first free throw on the day. Now a 75% shooter on the year. And she's got 7 points after the pair of free throws.
She's been a very steady performer. 12th game in a row with 7 points or more. This is her 13th.
Bassard with 7 points here in the third quarter, now has 9 as your leading scorer for the Shockers, back on defense right now.
Little matchup, 2-3 matchup.
We have a tie ball game with a minute to go in the third. And a three-pointer just won't fall for Saunders.
Good rebound by Sabrina.
Saunders is just connected on three three-pointers all year. Extra pass. Lozada Cabbage off the front of the iron. Rebound down to KK Wright. And KK came off the bench last year, but things have clicked both mentally and physically for her this year. Such a sharp player this season. And the shot clock should actually be turned off right now as
Wilson taking it down low and double pumping. Strong finish.
Final seconds counting down, as we'll have 10 more minutes to put on the clock in regulation. The Knights able to expand a 1-point halftime lead into a 2-point advantage. This ball game and conference victory is still very much up for grabs here in Orlando. As UCF and Wichita State with at least 10 more minutes to play. You're watching American women's basketball here on the American Digital Network.
Wichita State University is Shocker Nation. We exceed expectations, push boundaries, seize opportunities, and move boldly ahead. We are student-centered and innovation-driven. It's who we are. Our vision is simple but powerful. Create, innovate, collaborate, and celebrate. With one unifying purpose: to shock the world.
People say we're big. Wow. Well, what is big?
This is big.
It's an energy. An opportunity.
This is big, baby!
So go on. Dream big. Because big is just the beginning.
I got it. This is big.
7,000 student athletes rising to become champions in 21 different sports at 13 esteemed institutions across 11 states. 360,000 students and 2.6 million alumni rise up in celebration of a Power 6 conference known as the American.
Welcome back here on the American Digital Network, our first women's basketball game of the new year. Shockers and Knights on a busy day overall here in the American. Plenty of conference victories up for grabs, and certainly that's the case here as Wichita State, despite an 0-2 start in conference play against Tulsa and Houston, looking to pick up their first win. It would also be their first road win at the expense of UCF here today. Team that's off to a 2-0 start, living up to expectations early on. We mentioned UCF, a couple of top 25 foes coming up next on the schedule. Number 1 UConn, of course, the favorite to win the conference this year. And right now, 22nd ranked USF as well on the horizon. As we take a look at Keitha Adams and Bassard breaking that huddle, and a much stronger third quarter showing from her.
UCF right now, they need to, you know, look for a little bit more balance. I don't know where Gregory's been, but, you know, she's been kind of silent here for them, and she's obviously first team pick for the American Athletic Conference, all conference. So I would think, you know, they need to go to her a little bit and right.
L'Oreal Wilson's at the bottom of your screen, number 23 for UCF. She's come off the bench today for 10 points. She is your leading scorer in this ball game. And, well, a chance for a three-point play. KK Wright hits the bucket, and a free throw coming up for KK. She's got 6, looking to add her 7th here in a moment.
Well, that was a good take. She got aggressive. She got into the seam of that defense and pulled up and shot it. So she needs to come alive. She and Gregory.
The Knights, personnel-wise, built a little bit better in terms of picking up slack if your top scorer is having an off night. We have seen that here today. Dockers need to be mindful of getting across midcourt. Never will be able to do so. Kaba with the steal. Wright feeds it to Kaba, and they reward her for the defensive effort, and she'll become the first player other than Wilson in double figures.
Well, that's going to give them a big spark. Not only does she rebound it, she cuts into the court and kind of pushes the other player out of the way, takes it and finishes it. Big play by the freshman.
So 10 points for Kaba now. Goes with her 5 rebounds as well. As UCF now has its largest lead of the day, up by 7. It starts with Kaba, it ends with Kaba. Sandwiched in between, KK Wright with the assist.
And she just got down low, took her time, and she's gonna do that more and more as she gets more seasoned.
Cesaria Ambrosio with the basketball up top. She's out of Switzerland. We talk about both these programs with some international recruiting, both with players from Senegal. Of course, we're familiar with Fifi Indoor, the senior over the years, not available today for the Knights. They've got a couple of tough injuries this year to deal with. Wichita State fairly healthy, other than Mara Lee, who's out with a fractured hand early in the season. Went right back to Bassard. Now Lozada Cabbage with the offensive rebound. Again, largest deficit of the day for the Shockers. A 14-point swing since their 7-point advantage.
Well, they're just not letting Bassard put that ball down. Well, if she puts it down, there's 3 people around her every time.
I assume you used to tell your post players, don't negate your own advantage by bringing that ball down to your waist.
Well, exactly, especially when you're the best player on the team.
And that's just trying to force the ball in. Somehow it still wound up with Schuler. And she'll be helped out with a whistle here.
That was on, if that's on Lozada, that's her 4th foul. And that's too bad because she's the workhorse. Ooh, she got popped in the mouth right there. She's the workout horse for that team. And that's her 4th foul.
And of course, college game, you still just get 5. As Schuler, 6 of 15 coming in today from the free throw line. Schuler just 2 points here today. 0 for 1 from the charity stripe. Schuler averaging 4 points, about 8 rebounds a ball game. She had 5 blocks against SMU. That's saying something with the size that Travis Mays has had over there in Dallas.
They're a little banged up now. They don't quite have the size they had, but yes, that's a big thing for her.
Schuler's become the glue of this team. Picked up her degree in August, now working on her master's. As now a 9-point lead, the largest advantage either team has had today, favors UCF here at home.
Now, UCF is just slowly, silently, getting their rhythm finally here. Not doing anything spectacular, but a lot more steady, not turning the ball over.
14 to shoot. Ball will stay on this end with Rangy Bassard and the Shockers.
Rangy Bassard, she's 6'1". I think she's an overachiever. That kid every night gets everybody's best, and she's averaging 22 points. So she's putting it all out there.
She started her career in the Big Ten, past couple of years in the Missouri Valley Conference, and without the need of transfer, finds herself in her third conference, of course, here in the American this year for her final campaign. As right off the mark.
One of the few transition buckets we've seen. Both of these teams are transition teams, but they haven't been able to convert their turnovers.
There's the size advantage. They go into Bassard this time good, as Bassard in double figures.
Well, Tompkin again, she's the passer right there. I mean, she's got the skills of a guard at the forward spot.
Again, Rangy is number 21 in the nation coming into today, scoring 18.8 points a ball game. It would be the 4th best single season scoring average if she could maintain it in the program's history. And ultimately one and done for the Knights. Other way, and just determination paying off for Diamond Lockhart. We noted last year as a junior, just averaged 3.5 points a ball game. This year started every contest, gives him 30 minutes a night, and is averaging 10 points a ball game.
That's a big-time bucket, floater at the rim. They needed that.
Kaba. Kick out, back inside. And rebound by Bassard.
Last couple series, I think UCF has forced it. There haven't been quality shots, and they need to take their time.
6-0 run for the Shockers, cutting into the deficit. Bassard with 2 more. And a timeout for UCF.
She must have heard me talking about those poor shots she took in the first half, because she's like, I can shoot that. And that's a nice little three-point shot right there off the trail, or 2-point shot.
Should set up a fun finish in Orlando here today on the American Digital Network.
We are underway from the American. Don't miss the chance to see your team cut down the nets March 3rd to the 6th. Call the Mohegan Sun Arena or visit us online to purchase tickets today.
7,000 student athletes rising to become champions in 21 different sports at 13 esteemed institutions across 11 states. 360,000 students and 2.6 million alumni rise up in celebration of a Power 6 conference known as the American.
People say we're big. Well, what is big?
This is big.
It's an energy. An opportunity.
This is big, baby!
So go on. Dream big. Because big is just the beginning.
I got it. This is big.
6:42 to go here in the 4th quarter on the American Digital Network, as UCF and Wichita State. Knights had a 9-point lead just moments ago, but it's a 6-0 run for the Shockers on the road. And they're looking to shock some Knights here today.
Well, UCF has showed some effort, but just they haven't had quality possessions down the stretch. And they just need to be patient. They need to go inside the Caba and make it happen.
Well, while we're right here on the fringe of still the holiday season, want to again elaborate on Aaliyah Gregory, what she has done as a student athlete on the campus of UCF. And Here's a young lady for a third straight year put on a toy drive, and this year amassed more than 700 toys. Now over the last 3 years, over 1,300 toys donated by the community. And again, here's a student athlete, as if you aren't doing enough juggling both academics and athletics. You're thinking about the community. This specific toy drive over the past few years has benefited domestic abuse victims and looking out for some young kids who otherwise may not have as positive as an experience as most of us over the holidays.
Yeah, she started it a couple years ago, and she was on ESPN.com promoting it, and I guess the men's team and everybody's rallied around it, and it's to honor her late aunt. So it's very close to her family, and it's very admirable.
You mentioned the men's team, the Student Government Association, both have helped back her as well. Kaba off the mark, but offensive second chance opportunity. Nyla Schuler cleaning the window and puts up 2 more.
Well, that's what they wanted to do, get it in to Kaba, and great rebound by Schuler.
Ends a little drought for the Knights, and taking those 2 points right back, Diamond Lockhart.
Well, Diamond Lockhart's a transfer from Texas Tech, and she's waited her time, and I'm happy to see that she's making things happen for them.
Wichita State already recruited from Texas, but now that you will play a couple times each year in the Lone Star State, should continue to bolster that pipeline.
They have quite a few players from the state of Texas.
As getting a hand in the face was Thompson altering the shot, and they're going to call a trip. As Bassard says, I've got more coordination than that. I was fouled.
Yeah.
Looking at Masani Kaba. We expect a lot of great things from her over the next few years. Again, the foul called on KK Wright.
Inadvertent, I said it this time, inadvertent, but it still was a foul.
Looking to go inside to Tompkins. And right on the weak side.
I was surprised she took that. She's so much more of a passer than a scorer, so I was expecting some inside-out action from her.
KK Wright from Jones High School here in the Orlando area.
A lot of holding the ball. Need some movement. There we go.
That 9-point lead down to 3 at the moment. Stretch back to 5 with the baseline jumper. And again, there is the generous preseason first-team all-conference player, Leah Gregory.
Not one of her better nights, but that's a definite shot that you forget about the rest.
See if the Shockers can continue to answer the scoring on the other end. We're about to see Lozada Cabbage come back in despite her foul concerns, as Keith Adams may feel that they've gone away from her long enough.
Yeah, that was good position inside. She felt like she was held. Maybe she was, but that's not the player that you really want, taking those shots. The last couple times down, they really need to get it to their scorers. Down by 5 right now with 4 minutes to go.
So they'll bring the 6'2" forward, Angie Tompkins, back to the bench. She's giving them about 10 points, 6 rebounds a night as a reserve. Double figures 4 of her last 5 ball games. The Knights can stretch this lead back to 7, maybe even 8 here in a moment. They have not needed the 3 ball here today. They have missed their only 2 attempts from downtown. That time a much closer look is off the mark, but a whistle. And that will bail out UCF.
Yeah, I think they got Thompson on that one. They made a little switch here and brought Cabbage in to guard.
Be the 4th foul on Thompson. She joins Lozada Cabbage with 4 fouls apiece. And we've got another.
That's it for Cabbage.
Foul on defense, and if it is in fact on number 11, she thinks it is, and it is.
She wrapped her up a little bit.
So Sabrina will finish 2 of 5 shooting today, 7 points to go along with 4 rebounds.
I mean, she did a workmanlike effort all game. Just guarded Kaba inside and really tried to make things happen for the team.
Kaba 2 for 2 from the free throw line today. UCF is 8 of 9 from the charity stripe as a team. As Caba looking for her 11th and 12th points here. She's still tied with L'Oreal Wilson for the team high with 10 until now.
Well, and to think she's just a freshman with this kind of poise, I think the focus that she should have is just really working on her fundamentals in her post game. But I mean, her passing's nice. She's athletic. She really makes a lot of things happen. And she's playing the back part of that press where she gets to make a lot of reads. So she's been impressive.
Shockers gave up the offensive rebound after the missed free throw. UCF with the basketball. They'll call a timeout. We'll step aside as well. 3:55 to go here in regulation. Knights up by 6 with the basketball.
Wichita State University is Shocker Nation. We exceed expectations, push boundaries, seize opportunities, and move boldly ahead. We are student-centered and innovation-driven. It's who we are. Our vision is simple but powerful. Create, innovate, collaborate, and celebrate. With one unifying purpose: to shock the world.
People say we're big. Wow. Well, what is big?
This is big.
Back underway here in the fourth quarter. Lincoln Rose, Angela back with you here on the American Digital Network. They try to force it inside to Caba, but a turnover. Again, this is after UCF got an offensive rebound after a missed free throw, but can't make the Shockers pay, and now a tie-up and possession arrow favors the Knights.
Well, Thompson went down and took it coast to coast. Little floater, but rimmed out and got her own rebound, and they tied her up.
And I misspeak, the possession arrow favoring Wichita State. As Gregory wanted it more. Look, she said, I've given up enough gifts this holiday season. Time to think about myself. Inside to Tompkins, can't finish a foul now, and it looks like it'll be on Schuler.
I like Tompkins a lot, but that's the third in a row miss, and that's just getting her feet, you know, she's back up too quick. She needs to get a good base set, little pump fake, square up, and score that. She's got that in her game.
And one more to come here for Angie Tompkins. Now 3 for 3 from the free throw line, gives her 5 points, now 6 in her return to Orlando. Shortest trip her family has to make to watch her play basketball.
A little press from Wichita State.
Again, Wichita State 0 for their first 7 road games this year.
Well, they've been impressive.
Gregory fouled on the 15-footer.
If this is what they've got in store for us in the American Athletic Conference, I'm excited because they have put together a great team effort today. It's a close game. Still got 3 minutes to go. They're in this game, and they've been leading it for most of the game.
We're going to see both of these teams several more times on our ADN schedule, continuing throughout the next 2 months, and I think we're going to really enjoy watching both teams progress.
There's Gregory showing why she's a preseason all-conference pick.
And one more.
Need to have a little sense of urgency now if you're Wichita. You got to get it going, and you got to attack right away.
Tompkins quickly on the other end. Offensive rebound and nudged out of bounds. It's back over to UCF. No foul.
So when was the last time Bassard touched it?
It's been a bit.
It's been, I'd say 3, 4, 5 minutes. It's been a while. I mean, your 22-point scorer isn't getting any options here.
22 points a game here in conference play. Thunder 19 points a ball game for the season, and another offensive rebound for the Knights, who have won that battle here today.
Well, they've been rebounding tough all year. It's not a fluke that they're leading this rebounding battle. They're both rebounding teams, but their plus percentage on rebounding is plus 6.7% with their opponents. So they're usually very strong.
How about the little shrug and step back from Z Saunders?
Well, Coach loves Z, and she said, you know, she's developed into a scorer, and that's a good example right there.
Adjusting well to her new home here in Florida. After having to sit out last year, and on the opposite end, off the mark from Preston. And we're going to keep it here with the Shockers.
I think that foul was on for Bassard to go to the line. Timeout.
A minute 49 to go here in the fourth quarter. We'll step aside. You're watching American women's basketball here on the American Digital Network as the Shockers trail by 8.
We are underway from the American. Don't miss the chance to see your team cut down the nets March 3rd to the 6th. Call the Mohegan Sun Arena or visit us online to purchase tickets today.
Inside of 2 minutes to go here in the fourth quarter. A minute 48 to be precise. As the Knights trailed by 7 in the first half at one point. Rangy Bassard trying to pull them back in again. She only had 2 first half points, is in double figures scoring alone in the second half.
Most of the shots that she's been taking have not been easy shots, and probably not her go-to shots, but she's doing it because she's a competitor.
Bassard now has 15 on the ball game.
And look to get a stop here.
And Shockers will look to go on a little bit of a run. Back within 2 possessions, a little over a minute to play.
Need to get it into the post, a little high-low or a quick 3.
Kiki guarded by KK. And it'll wind up with Jalea Preston pouring in a pair. And a quick timeout.
Well, Jalea just attacked that seam of the zone and got right into the middle of it and got a very quality shot for them.
So the Shockers are back within 4, 55-51. Inside a minute to go here. And I have a feeling a few people, when they saw this matchup, had UCF pegged for a pretty easy path to a 3-0 start. It'd be their first ever 3-0 start in the American. Again, UCF has had some struggles that led to the coaching change, but Coach Abe has quickly established some high expectations for the Knights.
Well, she has, and most people think maybe this should be a wider spread, but I mean, realize that UCF is only a second-year team with a second-year coach, and they're still trying to figure some things out too. So I don't think we should get ahead of ourselves there, but I will say the Shockers are really showing us that they are very well coached. They're very patient, and they do have some quality distribution as far as their offense goes.
Shockers with the press. UCF able to utilize its size to get the ball
up
court.
They need a foul.
See what they have in mind.
But precious time off.
And it appears they're simply going to wait and hope for the rebound. Gregory. Kaba, another offensive rebound, put back, and the freshman with a big board here late will have free throws coming up.
Yeah, it's a tough situation. You have just under a minute with 4 points. You can say it's a 2-possession game, but I like a quick foul. Kaba was shooting 56%. Now we foul with already 26 seconds off the clock.
That was her 5th offensive rebound of the ball game. She also had 5 the other day against SMU. But if you're not going to foul and wait for the rebound, you can't give up that offensive board.
Well, you can't. And, you know, she's proven that she's a pretty good free throw shooter, too. I don't know the 56% that she had coming in here, but she's hit her free throws down the stretch, and they've been clutch free throws. And she's been very impressive.
A big embrace for her coach.
Well, Coach talked about, you know, I got her in there a little earlier than I wanted to because of these injuries. You know, McCory getting injured gave her kind of the green light to have a lot more minutes. And, you know, she's really proven that she's going to be the star of the future.
Again, you're without Fifi Endor, who in 7 games this year had put up 10 points, 6 rebounds a game for you, and had been a consistent player in her first 3 years for UCF. But she and Tolu Omokore not factoring in here in conference play. Yet the Knights have found some other solutions.
Well, you can tell, like, in mid-December that they kind of got their groove, and you can see where they're really establishing some consistency, and then they've won 5 out of 6. So that's pretty impressive, and you can say it's your scheduling, whatever, but, you know, they've had a pretty good preseason schedule, and they've been tested fairly well, but I think those early injuries have made them change the course of their plan a little bit.
Yeah, they went 5-1 in December, winning 5 of those 6 games, now winning 6 of their last 7. It could easily be a 7-game winning streak, but they went to Pacific and went to overtime for a narrow loss. Otherwise, their last loss was at Sanford to wrap up November.
Yeah, that West Coast Conference is a little, they're scrappy over there.
3-pointer won't go. Offensive rebound right back to Lockhart. 0 for 2 and ultimately hauled in by Schuler, and now foul from Wichita State. Shot clock no longer in effect here in regulation. 19.1 seconds to go on the game clock. And this next free throw, if UCF can connect, would make it a 3-possession lead.
Well, hopefully Wichita State doesn't think about, like, oh gosh, we're 0-3, because that's not what they are. Obviously on paper they are, but they are really coming together. I'm impressed with them. I didn't think we'd see this tight of a game. I think they caused UCF a lot of problems all game. They didn't, Bassard didn't have her best game, but we saw, like I said, the balance that we needed to see out of them. And I think, you know, Coach said she wanted to be positive and give the kids a positive experience, and this has to be a step forward for their program.
We'll see the Shockers for the next time at the start of February when they host the Houston Cougars. And we expect, again, this will be a team that continues to improve from one game to the next. As another miss off the mark. That should do it. Ball stripped away, just wanted it more, but Bassard could not put in the bucket. Instead, commits the foul. As Wichita State almost made things a little bit more interesting down the stretch, but with 1 second left, it's an 8-point ball game.
Yeah, she just took it out of her hand. And then missed the little crib. But what a good game. What a great effort by both teams. UCF, it wasn't super pretty for them, but they've got a lot of positive things to take from this and a few things to learn about themselves.
16 points for Bassard, 14 of those here in the second half after a slow start.
Like I said, not easy shots. She wasn't getting cribs underneath. She was shooting high post shots and some from the corner. I mean, she was shooting guard-like shots because she couldn't get open, so good for her for flashing. One of the things Coach said at halftime, Coach Adams, is that I want my kids to flash more and get open, and I think she was working hard.
Well, it's been an entertaining start here to our American Digital Network schedule for women's basketball. Look forward to the next couple of months, Angela. This one, of course, the storyline was 2 new coaches over the past couple of years. UCF made their change last year, Wichita State this year, in their maiden voyage here in conference play.
And both young coaches have been longtime veteran coaches. If you think about all the schools and all the years that they put in, I know that Coach Abe's been at Missouri State, Washington, Indiana, Iowa State, Michigan State, Maine. I mean, she's been so many places as an assistant and as associate head coach. And, you know, she had one of her best runs at Missouri State. You know, she went to a couple of NCAA tournaments at Missouri State. So they're proven coaches. Obviously, Coach Adams, 16 years at UTEP, you know, NCAA tournaments. And so for the American to have these 2 quality coaches is awesome.
Of course, Wichita State, high expectations year in, year out, both for their men and women's basketball programs. What an addition they have been, but it'll be the Knights for the first time since joining the American. Off to a 3-0 start in conference play. We'll step aside when we come back. Coach Abe will be with Eric Lopez for the post-game interview wrap as the Knights win this one 59-53 in Orlando.
Wichita State University is Shocker Nation. We exceed expectations, push boundaries, seize opportunities, and move boldly ahead. We are student-centered and innovation-driven. It's who we are. Our vision is simple but powerful. Create, innovate, collaborate, and celebrate. With one unifying purpose: to shock the world.
People say we're big. Well, what is big?
This is big.
It's an energy. An opportunity.
This is big, baby!
So go on. Dream big. Because big is just the beginning.
I got it. This is big.
59-53, the Knights off to a 3-0 start in conference play with Victoria's head coach Katie Abrahamson-Henderson. Of course, Eric Lopez down on the sideline.
Coach, congratulations. First 3-0 start in this school's history since joining the American Conference. Earned a hard-fought win. Congratulations. What was the difference there to pull that one out?
That's awesome. I didn't know that. You guys give me stats all the time. But our defense, I mean, we went into halftime and we were letting them score way too many points, and we wanted to hold them under 56 points, and we got 53 points. And obviously the starting five are back in, playing defense and playing smart and doing a great job. It really hurts when Nyla Schuler's out of the game. She was out a long time, and she's our best defensive player on the team, so that really hurt us a little bit. So obviously when she's in the game and Boston's the game, we're a lot better.
Saunders, you've talked about her, what a difference she is to this team. 12 points, 5 boards, 5 assists today, but the stat line doesn't tell the full story of what she means to this team, does it?
Yeah, she's a leader. You could tell she's talking out there. She was with us, and she knows the system. You know, she's like that coach on the floor, so she does a really good job for us, and, you know, I'm just happy she's here, but overall, I think that everybody finished the game, and that's important.
What do you want to see from your team? You got to work on now. It's still early in the conference season. It's a lot of games to go. What do you want? What are you going to work on to get kind of accomplish all your eternal goals?
I think staying focused on no matter team, and every team is really important. Obviously, the next game we're playing is UConn, and you know they're going to be all fired up for that game, but they should be fired up for every game that we play because every game really counts. And I'm going to tell them that 3-0 starts the first time in school history because we need to have little miracles all the time, and that's really big, especially for somebody like Aaliyah and Fifi and the seniors that have never done that.
Well, congratulations, Coach. Enjoy it.
All right, thank you.
We're going to bring in now your star player, leader, Z Saunders, joining us here. Congratulations on the win, hard-fought win. Tell me about what was the difference there from your standpoint on the court.
You know, just our defense and how we executed our defense. That's really a big thing for us. So when our defense starts going, it creates our offense, and then we start rolling.
I noticed that Aaliyah Gregory had a quiet game, but you went to her late in the fourth quarter, and you made some plays down the stretch to pull out this win. Talk about what you and Aaliyah kind of playing off each other.
You know, she's a really great shooter. Everybody knows that. So, you know, when she's not, you know, focused or when she's not ready there, and then everybody else just has her back, and we play off of each other.
Congratulations. This is the first time UCF started 3-0 since joining the American Conference. Enjoy it.
Thank you.
Lincoln, a very happy bunch here, 3-0 for the first time since the American Conference. Back to you.
Yeah, thank you, Eric. Saunders finishes with 12 points, second behind only Caba's 13 for UCF. She also added 6 rebounds and 5 assists. She will be a fun one here to watch in her final year as a collegiate athlete after transferring from Albany. So the Knights, as Eric noted again, off to a 3-0 start in the American. Winners today, their first ever clash with the Shockers of Wichita State goes UCF's way. 59-53 for our entire ADN crew, Angela Beck, Eric Lopez, and everyone behind the scenes. I'm Lincoln Rose. Have a great rest of your afternoon. Remember, UCF parade on Monday.